Hello everyone, welcome back to the Gore Report. This is another update on my classic from Royal Enfield. The last ride that I took, the speedometer wasn't working. So I went ahead and figured out what it was, but I didn't get a video of it, so I'm going to show you guys real quick how to diagnose what's going on with this thing and kind of go from there. So first things first, we got it up on the center stand here, and I got this little bottle jack that I will just get this thing up off the ground with. That's kind of just how I get the front wheel off the ground, because you're gonna have to spin it by yourself, and I don't have anyone to help me, so I just do that just to get this guy up off the ground. Because the next thing we're going to do is disconnect the speedo cable, and that is this guy right here. If you can see, it plugs in down here. This gray plastic bit here is the speedometer drive gear. So suspecting there's going to be something up with that or the cable, this is the best place to start. And this little guy just comes undone. Just gotta unscrew it. It's like a little knurled piece on there that you should be able to get with your hands. I was able to get it the first time with mine, and that is what you come out with right here. Is, if you've never seen one, it's just a little square deal that spins your speedometer, and get the wheel over here, and you can kind of see in there there's a little square drive right here. When you spin the wheel, that should spin, and you're seeing it spin right now. And this is something that got me right away, is that it is spinning, but what you're going to want to do is put some resistance to it, because mine was spinning, but if I put any resistance to it, it would stop spinning, which is telling me that something is wrong inside of this drive gear. So you can stick, I've seen people stick matches in there. I mean, you can kind of just stick whatever you want, as long as it's something you can give it a little bit of resistance, because this cable is going to have some resistance. And I'm assuming that's probably what happened at some point, is that the cable was resisting that so much that it just broke a gear off or a tooth or something like that. But on the other side of this, I'm going to show you how to see if your speedometer cable is good or not. So what you're going to do, I got this sweet Harbor Freight drill here, and just chuck the end of this thing into the drill itself is what you're going to want to do. Let's see. Just get it to bite on there, and then you're going to spin the drill, which is going to spin the cable. And I'll show you up top. You're going to want to see if it spins your speedometer. So here we go. It's moving. Making a ton of noise though. So, like I said, I would suspect that something went wrong inside of here. Lost grease. It does, and you can see it has grease and some kind of lubricant in it. And once that goes bad and it kind of just tries to freeze up, it wreaks havoc on everything. So, like I said, I diagnosed this a little bit ago after the last ride, but I want to show you guys kind of what you do to take care of this stuff. So here we go. Dum, da, da, da. Hitchcocks to the rescue. Got myself a new speedo cable and a new speedo gear drive. So next step is going to be taking this stuff apart. You do have to pull the front axle out to get the speedo drive out, but it's fairly simple. Thing you got to remember that a lot of people forget is that this guy clamps down on the axle on this side, and you have this big nut on this side. So you're gonna have to loosen this guy, and then before you do anything else, loosen up this clamp to pull the axle out, because that's how we're gonna get this guy out of here. But also, and some people will take out the headlight to do this. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see. Let me get you a light, because this is a little hard to see inside of here. But you can see up in here, that little knurled piece is where the speedometer cable attaches to the back of the speedo in there. And I tried a couple different ways. You can, if you get small little fingers, you can actually get your fingers back in there, or you could just pull the headlight off and get to it from the front. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull that speedo cable out, and I'm going to get this axle off and everything so that we can get the new drive on. So I'll be back in a moment as soon as I get that stuff taken care of. Alright, so I'm back. I got the axle out. One thing to note is it does come out this side, so don't try to take it out the side where the threads are, but do pull it out this side. And I also got the speedo cable off. See, I took the headlight out to get that out. One thing you will want to remember when you do take the wheel off, it's got spacers in there. This side is for the speedo drive, and this is the old one here. You can see it's just got two little tabs on there, and that rides on this guy right here. It's got two little tabs that it rides on. And then there's another spacer that goes on the other side that's different. So don't mix them up. Don't put them on the wrong way, or else your wheel spacing will be wrong. But now that I got that done, it's just a matter of putting it back together. So I'm going to go ahead and get the new drive on and the axle back on. It just pushes through, and you can tap it with a hammer too. It's not too difficult to get off unless you have a lot of corrosion or something like that, but they should be pretty well greased. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll get the new drive gear on, and that's this guy right here. Brand new, looks beautiful. Stick that on, and I will put the speedo cable back on, and then we will be right back to show you it all buttoned up. Alright folks, this is it. We got it all back together. You can see amid my greasy fingerprints, we got our new speedo drive. One thing to note that I forgot, I actually had to loosen this back up. Before you tighten down the axle nut, make sure this didn't turn. Mine spun to where the little guy that the cable connects to, that's down here, was like straight up. So make sure that you take care of that before you cinch everything down, because once you get it all tight, this thing isn't going to move. So it's right where it's supposed to be, sticking back. Got it through this guy and back up. And I did, just because it was easier, I started up here and routed it down, attached it to the speedo gear first, and then because it's got that same square end on both sides, so if it's not lined up correctly, it won't go all the way onto this bottom of the speedo. So it wasn't going on, so I got it right there, and I just spun the wheel a little bit to get it to turn, and then it popped right in. So keep that in mind, and then you just tighten this guy down, and now we're all ready to go. I'm going to put the headlight back in, get it all buttoned up, and then we'll take it for a ride, and hopefully everything is good and quiet. I will be back momentarily though. Alright, here's the moment of truth. Let's see if all of this ends up working well together. See if the speedometer starts springing to life. There it goes. Look at that. Woohoo! Nice and steady. Looking good. Oh man, it's nice to have this thing all buttoned up and together. I will mention too, I didn't mention this when I was putting it all together. I forgot to talk about it, but whenever you are replacing a mechanical speedo, put some lube on it. Look out there, bud. People do not pay attention. It did have some kind of grease or something on it. Honestly, it looked kind of like Vaseline or something. It was like clear, greasy looking stuff, but I put a little bit of extra. I actually put spray-on chain lube on it, honestly. That way it'll stick to the cable and help it stay lubricated inside of that sheath. And that's what you're really looking for. If you put anything that's liquid in there, it's gonna puddle down at the bottom, and it really doesn't do you any favors. But this thing is looking good, man. Nice and steady. It is riding nicely. If you could see too, I put these little bar end mirrors on here too. I just picked those up off of Amazon. They're super cheap, not really the best quality. One of them I had to end up doing some modifications to it so that I could get it to stay on properly because it wasn't clamping well. But I think I want to say they were like $15 or something like that, and I figured I'd take a chance on them because most of the ones that I saw were black, and I thought the chrome was a better look for this bike, so I figured I would just make them work. And they look pretty good. They're not super vibey, and this is a pretty vibey bike. You can feel it through the foot pegs and stuff pretty well. But man, this is it for me, guys. This is it's all buttoned up, and I'm just enjoying the hell out of it right now. I don't know if I mentioned before, but I still remember, and gosh, this was probably at least 10 years ago now. It might even have been when this bike came out in 2010-ish. I was working at a place, and there was an older gentleman that had one, same color as this and everything, and he would ride it to work every once in a while. And I remember rolling through the parking lot and taking a look at it and just really admiring it all the time. I thought it was like the coolest thing. So this is kind of an awesome experience for me, and it's a different bike altogether. It really feels like something from the 50s or whatever. And you know, when I first got into motorcycles, I thought all of those older Harleys and Indians and stuff from like the late 40s, early 50s were so cool, and this kind of has that aesthetic to it a little bit. So this is kind of just a little, almost a dream come true for me, if I'm being completely honest. You know, not that it's, you know, getting to ride a Panigale or something like that, but this is just cool, and it's something that's so attainable. To get something like this, I haven't ridden one of the new classic 350s, but I'm assuming they're probably pretty similar, maybe a little more refined, just because I think Royal Enfield has probably gotten a little bit better about taking care of the vibrations with these things. But man, this is just a comfortable bike to ride, and kind of cool too to ride something that your feet are like in front of you a little bit. It's like you're sitting in a chair almost. It's super comfortable, and I never thought I would be into a bike like this as far as riding position goes, but it's cool. So, oh, I missed a shift there. So I'm gonna sign up for now. This is a super windy day. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
And I'm gonna ride this sucker around for a little while longer, just because, man, this is exciting. This is fun stuff. I love riding this thing. It's so comfortable. Even with the vibes, it's just got character, I would say. You know, I kind of get it now when guys that ride Harleys say, oh, well, you know, it's just the character of the bike to be vibey and stuff. That's just what it is. And it's fun. So anyway, as always, if you like this stuff, feel free, leave a comment, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like my videos, and check out the other ones, because this is the last of, I think, 4 with this bike where I've been doing some work to it. So if this is the first one you're seeing, check out another one, see what you think. And as always, my sign off for everybody is, don't ever stop getting out there and riding. See you folks later.